And I turn around and I look at her. Did you just spit on me? How do you walk out of this situation being the bigger person? What do? Wrote a story about it. Like to hear it, here it go. I'm gonna give you some insight about some experiences that I've had via story about funny or challenging or scary things about my life abroad. These stories are not meant to demonize or shame any countries. They are basically giving you insight into perspective and choices. Today's story is dedicated to the wonderful elderly lady who spit on me at a grocery store when I lived in Vietnam. Wrote a story about it, like to hear it, here it go. I'm gonna start by saying that when you live abroad, there are certain things that you adjust to being in a different culture, but when you live abroad as a Black female, I think that brings a whole nother level. There are things that you become really culturally desensitized to. Pointing, making faces, taking pictures, and just the look of, ugh. I don't think in the 3 years that I lived in Vietnam that there wasn't a week that went by where someone was not offended or confused or disgusted by, I guess, my looks. But this one particular day, I do think that the universe was testing my ability to ignore other people's reactions. It started off just being a really challenging day. It started off with me going to the grocery store and I'm standing in line and there was a lady who was there with her child who I'm supposing has never seen a Black person before and she's never seen a plus size butt before. So she asks her child to take her phone and go take a picture of my butt. Now, this child blatantly did literally what she said because he was probably all of, 5 or 6. So we are already starting the day off on a WTF note. And that was followed by an accident going to work. I'm riding down a stretch of highway in the rain in full rain gear. I come to a stoplight and there is a guy who was next to me and he takes out his phone in the rain to take a picture of me. The light turns green, I take off. This guy literally pursues me. He pursues me with one hand on his motorcycle and the other with his camera. He got so close to me that our bikes touched. He ended up falling in the rain and it scared the shit out of me, but not enough to stop. You know why? Because I'm culturally desensitized to it. I want to say that this was like a one-off, but this isn't the first time that it has happened. Didn't realize until I had gotten to school that I had an injury. The top of my foot was fully busted open. There was blood everywhere. Apparently I scraped something, but the adrenaline was so much that I didn't feel it. And I had to tape myself up to go to work for that strike too. I just want my day to be over. I just want it to be over. Cue, coming home. It is still raining. I'm stopping at the grocery store so that I can pick up food to cook for dinner. I go and I get a plastic bag. I'm going up the aisle and I come to this section for chicken. This little old lady comes by me and literally she bumps me on purpose. And I turn around and I look at her. She looks at me like this and she does and looks at me like this. I look down at my foot. I see this big blob of spit on my shoe. Did you just spit on me? Took a second to register because I had to process every situation of reacting before I reacted. Here are the straight facts and circumstances that I am experiencing right now. I am in a country where I am a guest. I am in a country where the police are not called for anything. I am in a country that protects its citizens. So if I put my hands on this lady, I'm probably gonna go to jail. If I raise my voice to this lady, I'm probably gonna go to jail. If I do anything that is antagonizing, I am putting myself in a more vulnerable position and in a position to be the bad guy in this situation. So I had to take a breath. I had to think about being Black, being female, and being a guest in this country. What is the best way to be the bigger person in this scenario of a person who is judging me that doesn't know me and has the freedom to express herself by spitting on me. I don't even know what reason. How do you walk out of this situation being the bigger person? What do you do? First thing I did, motherfucker, I'm counting to 10. I am woo-sawing this to bring myself from the red zone back down. Woo-saw, motherfucker. I stopped and I looked at the display of the chicken, and I thought to myself, with the money that I have in my pocket right now, I am going to buy every single piece of chicken off of this shelf. I bought the entire section of chicken, and I walked to the checkout line. I made eye contact with her as I took out my wad of cash and paid the cashier. And I listened to her, I'm sure she was saying something that was the equivalent of 4-letter words, probably the same 4-letter words I was using in my head when she spit on me. That is how I owned that moment, without anybody getting cursed out, without anybody getting hurt, without any setting myself up to be the antagonist in this situation. That was what I felt was the best decision in how to own this moment. So I had a huge shopping bag full of chicken. I went home and I told my significant other what had happened. And I think we ate chicken for like the next 4 or 5 months. So there you go. So the moral of the story is, you don't always need to have an emotional reaction to things that make you upset or offend you. I am curious, how would you have handled that confrontation? Leave a comment below. So I thank you guys for joining me on this story time, and thank you for coming to my TED Talks. I will see you next time.